Welcome back to the 2018 JRDA World Cup. I'm Deathnella, joined by George Carnage, and we are so excited to be here to bring you Game 15. But what does that even mean? This is the big one, the one to pick seeds 1 and 2 for tomorrow, going into the bracket division of the World Cup between USA East and USA West.
Right, and if you've been keeping track, and hopefully you have, you've seen both these teams blow their opponents out of the water by, we're talking between 280, 300 points at a minimum. Australia, Great Britain, Europe, Canada. So this is kind of the game that means everything's going to get real. So thank you for sticking with us. We have another full day of this tomorrow, but right now this is the game you want to stay tuned into.
And as you said, we do know that one of these two teams is going to be seeded first, the other one second. Here's how the seeds have also rounded out. In third place right now, going into tomorrow, Canada. Number 4, Australia. Number 5, Europe. And number 6, Great Britain. And as George Carnage mentioned, World Cup action will also resume back tomorrow right here, twitch.tv/WFTDA. That'll start at 8 a.m. Eastern, and we will remind you about that coming up. But the crowds haven't left yet, George. It's still going out there because this is the one to watch. It's
an intense crowd. We have fans here from all over the world. We have, and they're in sections. The Australia is in front of us.
Yep.
The Great Britain, I can't find them by the bed-sized flag and the percussion section over there with the flag there, and Canada is still here. They're all interested to see how this game turns out, and it is of interest to them to know that information too.
And just for the record, I mean, people were here for the opening ceremonies at 8 a.m. Eastern. It is now 8:12 or past 8 p.m. So it's been more than 12 hours of derby. Straight through.
We wanted to start a few minutes ago. We're giving both these teams a chance to get a fair chance to warm up, and we're counting down now. And I think I even see a lineup on the track.
Yes, it looks as though we're going to get the action underway. I see Unstoppable out there. And that's the thing, George Carnage. We've seen all these skaters. We know their faces now because so many of them skated at JRDA Champs this weekend.
Most of them have. We all know their strategy, not the strategy, but what we can expect from them at this point. We have some amazing athletes here on both of these teams. We're Ari, Unstoppable, Triple Threat, Thunder. Well, are we going to run through the rosters here? Do you think? Yeah.
We'll do that in just a moment. I think let's get the action underway. We do have Unstoppable on the line for USA East and number 17.
That's
Turbocharged. Yeah.
So there's our jam starting whistle.
Turbocharged out fast.
Turbocharged now skating for the red team. That is USA West. On a scoring pass. Pretty much complete with that pass at this point. No, there's a block out of bounds. I've been kind of waiting for this game all day long because I know what we're expecting to see. We're going to see a very intense game. This is kind of the grand finale of the day. I was going to say, but all powerful impact players out there, Unstoppable and Turbocharged both, bringing it all weekend long at Champs. Turbocharged is aging out this year, so this is a big deal for him, too, to finish his JRDA career on a high note. Well, on that note, let's congratulate Turbocharged on the accomplishments in Derby, and we hope that Turbocharged does stick with it. So USA East has finally completed a scoring pass, and there's 4 whistles, means that jam is over. I believe that was actually only his initial. That's how long USA West put the pressure on him. Yes. Incredible defensive work out there. And that's, Carnage, that's really what I'm looking forward to. I know the jammers, that's where the action, they're the scorers. But watch the intricacies with the blocking. Everyone knows where they need to be. The amount of effective knockouts, dragbacks you'll see on these intense players it's just remarkable. It's professional. It's very professional blocking. Okay, USC East now with the lead, and that's going to none other than Olivia Glisson. We've seen just tremendous skating this season, this past couple days with Olivia Glisson as a jammer. There's a cutting the track penalty going to West's jam. No. West is just out of bounds. There is a cut going to a blocker, but Olivia Glisson is on a scoring pass. And we have Rivas jamming for USA West. Out with points as well. Gets 4 there. Glisson deciding not to call it, wants to finish the scoring trip through the pack. Possibly doesn't quite get all 4. No, gets 3 points on that last one, but a massive jam for USA East.
Well, West actually just took the lead here.
Yes, you're
points.
right.
So there was a lead change, and it's only our second jam. And I think this is how it's going to be for the entire length of the game.
And Carnage, you're really familiar with these skaters as well, being from the East Coast. You've seen some of them play?
Believe it or not, I haven't.
Oh, yeah, because you're more of the adult roller derby.
Yes. This is my first time knowing any of them. And even in the few moments I've had to talk to them, they're just amazing people. So there's number 15 for the red team, Threatening Thunder, not lead because of a no pass, no penalty. So triple threat is jamming for Team East, and he's off with a cutting the track penalty, right.
So what we're going to see now is a full 2-minute jam. Enigma from Team USA East released from the penalty box. Didn't even see him go in there. Meanwhile, Threatening Thunder almost skipping by on the straightaway line there between turns 2 and 3.
I guess if you have that kind of footwork, it doesn't matter what kind of pack you have. If you can just toe stop your way around it, there's no stopping you.
I know. I'm just in awe. All of these skaters, the blockers too, know exactly where that line is, and although to be fair, we've also seen a number of track cuts throughout the tournament so far, and it's day 1, but 15 games at that.
Probably one of the most common penalties we're seeing is track cuts.
And that doesn't always speak to the level of derby IQ that these players have, because they know their awareness. They're very keenly aware of where they need to be, and you're going to see that right here. Look at that pack work on turn 3.
Absolutely. So coming up front there is our East blocker. Triple threat back in from the box. Initial pass is now complete. So triple threat ready to throw some points on the board for blue. And triple threat is out of the pack. Let's see, we've got, is that a grand? That's 5 more, 5 points up there. So USA is not taking that. They're not taking that lead change there. They're going to do everything they can.
That's USA East. We're going to try to keep it East and West here, all muddled up. All we know is that these skaters are so intense. Threatening Thunder coming through for another scoring trip through the pack. Gets bumped out by Enigma.
So there's triple threat one more time. That jam is over. Let's see what the points are in that scoring pass. Our jammer referee is showing 2 for West, 5 for East.
Wow, big scores for both teams there, but USA West still with the lead at this time. 18 points there brings it to 31. 14 for USA East brings it to 20. This is roller derby in its purest form, just complete athleticism, fast pace, and powerful.
Number 18, is that Global Storming? We'll be taking on number 103.
Yes, and already out with lead, but jamming for East, we have number 103.
Maybe they mean 103-1, Floppy
Joe.
Joe.
Yes, Floppy Joe. We've seen him a number of times
Another
today.
name we've been talking about all weekend, Floppy Joe.
And the energy, you can feel the energy in the venue already has shifted. You can tell that this is the intensity. These two teams know, of course, that they're likely going to be facing each other at some point tomorrow, or possibly not. You never know what happens in the World Cup.
There's going to be a grudge match. If it doesn't happen within the next 20 minutes, it's going to be tomorrow. I had the pleasure of being the house announcer for the final game tomorrow night, and the adrenaline from the crowd blew me away.
Yes, the level of intensity at Champs. All right, we have number 17 out there, that's turbocharged for West, and number 28 for East. I believe that's Bonnet.
So lead is still open. East, Bonnet trying to get up front, but there's a classic tripod right there holding Bonnet back. And look how quickly they're recycling that 3 wall. It's just unreal how quickly they're aware of what's going on.
And the bridging that's happening right here into turn 2. That's
Bridging
Speed Bryu right at the top. Wow, with the knockout.
And now a full rollback. They're going all the way back to the jammer line. Both of our jammers are all the way at the back of the pack. It looks like an apex jump is going to give lead to USA West.
If you can get the space, and turbocharge does not need really more than an inch, if that, for those impressive jumps. All these skaters getting plenty of air this weekend and today as well.
So we've got another very strong pack. A jammer penalty given. Is that a back block?
It was a
Oh.
Track cut on
USA West.
And
that would be turbocharged.
It's going to give Bonnet a chance to possibly make up those points. A power jam being when there's only one jammer on the track and basically allowing your blockers to play offense instead of just defense or having to switch between the two quickly.
Right. Right. That power jam, if you've seen any derby at all, you know those power jams are game changers. Almost every single time. They'll either win you or they're going to lose you by a lot. Those jammer penalties, when you're unopposed, yes.
And it looks like our Twitch chat is catching these penalties as well.
Good job.
Hearing from Coach Dan, Turbo just cut 2 of his own that were out bringing back Bonnet. And that's Carnage. You can cut one of your own teammates, but you cannot cut more than that. Otherwise, you're going to get that cut track penalty.
Right.
Wow, that was an epic jam. That was 2 minutes.
Now, I wonder if this is their first time playing against each other, just with the way the teams were split up and everything.
Yeah.
If
I think it might be, honestly, the first matchup. And there's skaters out there on both teams that we're not seeing. I know Team USA West has Mousetrap as well that they've been using to jam. He's not out there for this game. Team USA East, for those at home who've been watching the JRDA champs, Road Rage, he was taken down by an injury Saturday.
Yes.
Well, guess what? He was back on jamming.
Well,
killer jams.
number 15, Threatening Thunder, was out in the final game of the champs last night. Threatening Thunder skated not for Santa Cruz, Seattle, I believe.
Yes.
Out on an injury, got back up without really a whole lot of help needed. So overnight, just had a chance to recuperate. And Threatening Thunder, that's number 1-5 on West, is just back up and at it. And he actually, yeah, Road Rage was taken out, like we were just saying, 2 nights ago. It didn't look good, but Road Rage is back and skating full strength.
Definitely. He came back with a massive 23-point jam.
Yes.
That's one way to show what a little bit of rest will do, especially when you're coming in like that. Okay, and Team West, we're going to have Rivas take the star to start. That's number 10. And then from the East, number 106, Unstoppable.
And Unstoppable has been living up to that name. If you've seen Unstoppable jam, it's tremendous. I did broadcast with our producer Gretchen here yesterday, and we just saw some just powerful Grand Slam lap point passes by Unstoppable, and we determined that name was very apropos. Number red 15 is the best. So that's Threatening Thunder that we were just talking about.
Yeah, we're reading some of the Twitch
Yes.
chat. We don't always have a chance to read it all because the action out there is intense. And we're seeing a blocker start off the pivot line. Oh, and we do see that the jammer is sitting in the box for Team East.
Team East. This is a power jam now for USA West with Rivas taking the star. And Rivas is up front, gets past that last blocker, and there's the lead.
Those spinning moves, Carnage, I've been seeing them all weekend, and they don't always work if you're not quick, but speed is not an issue here.
Not only the defensive spinning, the offensive, but the coming in as a jammer, just doing that 180 on your toe stop around a blocker, like a planetary move.
Yeah.
Just boom, almost unfazed.
One thing that just happened is we saw Enigma get sent to the penalty box on a low block call. He has gotten into some penalty trouble over the weekend at Champs and also today, fouling out of 2 games earlier. So something to watch. There's only 4 fouls in these 30-minute games.
So speaking of penalties, we do have Ria Culpa on our live feed here. We are checking this, so if you want to chat with us, we are keeping on top of our live chat here. And Ria Culpa checking in and keeping on top of the penalties from remotely, and the WFTDA did actually give Ria a shout out.
And we do want to say thank you for joining us here. We've also seen all day long on the Twitch chat people saying, what is this game? If you're just joining us, you are watching Flat Track Roller Derby, the best young athletes in the world right now skating in the round robin of the 2018 JRDA, that's the Junior Roller Derby Association World Cup.
So speaking of Threatening Thunder has the jammer star on for USA West and looks to be knocked out of bounds there between turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, she didn't want to play the game that Glisson wanted to play, which is the super long drag back, instead waiting for the pack to catch up with Glisson. And instead of what we say swallowing her up, she then skated forward, and the threatening Thunder was able to re-enter legally.
Right, so both of our jammers are now just starting their initial pass as they were a lap behind in that little move. And they're both in back, and we haven't seen Olivia Glisson get shut down too much.
No, she's been a strong performer
Yes.
all weekend. And what's interesting is you're saying the start of that, and that happened on turn 3. But what we're seeing as well, no earned pass, that previously no pass, no penalty. So Olivia Glisson awarded lead, able to shut the jam down before any points scored.
We should have a 0-0 jam there. Yes, 0-0. And I believe if you are watching this and you are new to Derby, there is a page in the WFTDA website, and I believe that's WFTDA.com/allaboutderby or something along those lines. You can find everything you need to know. They'll tell you if there's a league near you, and there are so many leagues that you might be surprised where you can go if you want to be part of the sport.
And we have Global Storming out there for Team West and Triple Threat for Team USA East.
Thank you,
and
Rhea.
it's Global Storming out fast. And first, the pack speeding up now, too, as Triple Threat just chasing him down.
They're about 20 feet away from each other. Global Storming is in the pack, finds a hole there on the straightaway, and there's a cut track. It was just a very momentary, the wheel went out of bounds. So,
but that will restart the jam. Yes, it'll restart. What's going on?
Triple Threat, I believe now, is on a power jam. Global Storming.
No, the jam was whistled off. I
wonder what happened.
There was confusion. We also saw players there letting their guard down, and that's always an unsafe mode of play. So Carnage, one thing I've learned from speaking with a lot of the officials, and I know you've been around Derby for a long time, is that safety is the most important thing. But also, if those whistles blow, unfortunately, yes, there might have been some action before that, but then it'll obviously start the next jam.
Anytime you hear those 4 whistles, even if it's an error, the game has to stop and that jam is restarted.
So I think now they're obviously discussing whether or not that track cut was indeed a track cut.
That's why I think I saw the hand signal for a track cut by the jammer referee, and then it just seemed to turn into kind of a hodgepodge there. So we're not sure if maybe somebody thought that the one long whistle was 4 and then blew 4. If that's the case, that 4 whistles has to stay. Obviously, the jam is stopped now.
Well, and you refed, so you know as well.
Yes.
The way, the view and the huddles and the discussions.
I have called off many jams accidentally, and it is the most embarrassing thing you can do during a game.
We're just getting told by Gretchen Little, our amazing producer, who's also been fantastic all day on the stream in the house calls, letting us know that the East has been held scoreless for the last 4 jams. And we've seen it, I keep saying all weekend as though everybody knows what I'm talking about. Of course, this is the World Cup of Champs happening in the same venue in Feasterville, Pennsylvania, the last 3 days. And whoever controls the lead usually controls the jam, but more than that, it's the penalties too. So that's why we're keeping an eye out for that, see if anyone fouls out on those 4 penalties.
One thing that I like seeing is we do have a junior referee here, an outside pack referee.
You'll see him. The camera's going to pan to him.
Number
in just a
101 there. Work in the front. But in the meantime, USA East jammer is not lead because of a no pass on penalty. That's number 1031, Floppy Joe. Turbocharged.
Tried to do an apex jump there, but definitely landed on the infield.
Turbocharged can get lead if Turbocharged is the first, the only jammer at this point because of that no pass, no penalty.
And look at that. The bridging actually happening there is an advantage for USA East to keep the pressure on, but now Turbocharged out with lead. We'll see whether he tries to get some points with this. Trusting his defense to keep Floppy Joe back, who is on a scoring trip through the pack as well.
There it is. So Turbocharged is lead now and puts 4 on the board.
And we're being asked about that cut. It looks like the refs did not call that cut. So that's why there were 2 jammers out at the start of the jam.
Right. I think that one of the strongest defensive positions you can possibly do is when you have all 4 blockers in a circle. And what they're doing is they're actually rotating like a cage, almost kind of back and forth. And they're very aware. And they're the way they're bracing, a single skater cannot get through there.
I love that description, a
Yes.
cage. I mean, we always, obviously, we call a 3 a tripod.
Right.
I've heard it called a cube in the 4, but a cage is a good way because they do actually trap the jammer in there, and then they're able to manipulate their bodies around them.
Obviously, and in very few cases, it becomes a multiplayer block, but it's very effective.
We have Unstoppable out there for USA East. Rivas out for West. Rivas out first, too. Looking strong. He's had an incredible performance as well all weekend.
So now Rivas is on a scoring pass, knocked out of bounds at the apex by number 171, Gilman.
It was Haley Dubinsky who brought him back. She captained Tampa at JRDA Champs, and I believe she's also aging out this year.
Good. Well, good for Haley. There is a note. DCM is the master of the cage defense. I have seen DCM, nothing but an amazing team. Very strong. DCM, they had the black helmets and the orange letters on them. They did an awesome job this weekend.
And the action's going up. Dizzy Izzy out. First time this bout with a star for USA West, and Glisson out for the East.
25-62 now. Yeah, Glisson's getting held back. Dizzy Izzy did take the lead in that for West, and
now we're seeing that her star cover is off.
Yes.
She is looking for a star pass. Oh, but it's now on the ground. She's got to try to get it.
yep. Either way, Dizzy Izzy did pick up that lap point, so that's a 5-point scoring pass for the West.
Just look at this slow. Oh, and then of course a little taste of speed there by Dizzy Izzy, picking up 5 points.
Dizzy Izzy taking a bit of a tumble there, coming around the track.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say little regulator, trying to give her some offensive help. West has gotten lead 8 out of 10 times here,
I believe
80%. Glisson pushing at the back.
There's another classic tripod up front there.
And now
Dizzy Izzy calls it off. We had a little bit of a scare there for just a second, but Dizzy got back up on skates and called it off.
Well, and I've been seeing as well, Carnage, skaters do not want, they really don't want to call for an injury, because then, of course, they have to sit out three jams,
right.
which is a huge thing in a game that's only 30 minutes long. Also, something else I wanted to mention, on the Twitch chat, we're hearing people say, that was clearly a cut, and commenting about calls. One thing is that the Zebras have a very special vantage, and if no one saw it, it's really difficult to assess if something happened. So
Right,
sometimes you won't see the call because of that reason.
And sometimes, to be completely honest, it is easier to see it with the bird's eye view that the camera operators have than they have it right in front of you, where your field of view isn't what it is.
Oh.
Normally when it's far away. So 18, that is Global Storming, has taken lead for West once again. 333 triple threat, who has been a very effective jammer so far this weekend, is trailing behind.
And we have a call off. Yeah, when I said, he missed an incredible blocking attempt there by Enigma from USA East, who was also just a force out there on the track. So managed to escape that just with a quick juke. And we're also seeing that too. I know we talk so much about the physicality of the game, the hard hits, but it's those subtle artistic movements, Carnage, of the jukes and the quick changes and the lateral movements of the skates.
Just pack awareness is one thing that every team I've ever been around has practiced heavily, and every team has a different technique, but you got to know what's going on around you because it's so dynamic. It changes from second to second. Where are your blockers? Where is the other jammer?
Exactly. It's so much going on at all times, and right now we have Threatening Thunder out there for USA West. Floppy Joe repping the East. Coming up against number 7-9, who's also making herself known, Little Regulator.
Not a play blocking penalty is going to number 89.
That's Speed Bryu.
Yeah.
He thought he had a solid bridge there, a little regulator saying, I'm a bridge, but
Another example of teamwork, because you need your teammates to not let you get 20 feet ahead of that pack.
And if you're wondering what we're talking about bridging, we'll get to that another time. This game is so short, but you look it up. It seems like people are really educating themselves today about roller derby. Bridging has to do with the engagement zone and how much space you have to legally be in play. Because, of course, if the entire track was an engagement zone, we wouldn't be able to have derby. It would just be insane.
It would be demolition derby, as Gretchen would say.
Exactly. All right, Gretchen actually passing us. We know that it's Rivas out there for USA. Oh, no, it looks like Global Storming is out there for
They did the
West.
old send out one jammer and then exchange the jammer at the last second.
The old jammer switcheroo.
I used to ref at a league that would send 2 jammers out, and then right before that jam start, one of them would leave, so you never really knew which one was going to be jamming. It was dirty and not illegal.
Well, and right now we are taking a quick break for an injury. Did not see what happened there, but while that's happening, always a good time to mention the incredible safety and medical team that we have on site who have been there, who are here all day, just as we were talking about Carnage, being here from 8 in the morning to 8 at night.
And we have had to call them out, but more times than not, they're out just to take some information, and that skater back up under their own power, off the track on their own skates. Just right here. Needs a little bit of help getting up. Nothing major, just kind of just got surprised, got the wind knocked out of you, just needed a minute to regroup. So.
And that was number 244, Team USA West, Tribal Terror. And Carnage, you talk about the wind getting knocked out of you. I spoke with one of the Great Britain skaters. She's only been skating 14 months, and she's out here. She's incredible, but she got hit really hard. And so I came up to her after the game, and I said, how are you doing? She's icing her ribs, and she said, honestly, I got the wind knocked out of me because back home, they just don't hit like that, or she's not used to it. So that's part of it, too, is these athletes are going to come back. Now, this is USA and USA, but a lot of the other athletes are going to go home and go, okay, time to ramp it up with the hitting.
That's what I was just going to say. I wonder what the skaters from other countries are going to take home from this weekend. I'm sure that they are making notes of things to work on and strategy and skills, because while we're watching this game, we were seeing Europe and UK hip checking and just fist bumping, and I'm sure that they're all talking about stuff that they're learning, and that's what that's going to do, is that's going to improve the sport as a whole. We've all been around when some of the old strategies like scrum starts, when that just took off a couple years ago. One team invents it, and it just spreads like fire, and now it's almost a standard part of Derby.
It is. It's what we call the evolution of Derby.
Right.
And sometimes teams will save things for champs, and we'll talk about that in a moment too. WFTDA, the Continental Cup's coming up, the playoffs coming up. You'll start to see things likely that will then be in play the next season.
Yes. So obviously, I think what we're seeing today, building up part of the sport in a way that might take a couple years, but we're hearing about these skaters aging out, moving on to bigger and better things. Olivia Glisson picking up lead for USA East.
And we have Dysart out there for USA West, also skated as under fist fight for Mob City. And I believe also with Seattle in the female division. She's done a ton of Derby this weekend, Carnage.
Yes. Olivia Glisson putting 3 on the board for USA East. USA East still trailing behind at 32 against West's 77.
But of course, this is roller derby, and I know some great new folks to roller derby watching on Twitch TV. That lead might seem like a lot in some other sports, but in roller derby, with this level of play, you just never know what's going to happen.
That 40 or so points, a jammer can get something as simple as cutting the track, and it turns itself around quickly too. Those power jams, a very quick way for a team to change the score. Lead jammer going to USA West, but Rivas has been swallowed back up at the back of the pack. So this needs to complete that scoring pass. Triple threat out of the pack now on a scoring pass.
Yeah, Rivas deciding to call it, says, I'm not going to chase him down. We might as well try this again, and wanting to keep some time on the clock, too, to widen that gap. Now, this is not normally in Derby, the point differential, of course, is really important because sometimes even if you don't win the game, you win the point spread. But in this, because it's a round robin, this is just for seeding. We know that these two teams are going to be the top two in the World Cup seeding going into the bracket play tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow everybody plays for keeps. This is just to kind of narrow it down for the real the real hitting the fan moment tomorrow.
Exactly. We have number 700 Toe Jammer out first time this bout for Team USA West. And a forearm call on one of the Team USA East blockers, but Floppy Joe out there jamming, coming up against that wall. And it's fierce, turbocharged up there, trying to stop him. The bridge going up, and it just, wow, out with lead, Team USA East.
East blockers, they're down one blocker, but that's very strong blocking there at the back of the pack.
And right now, Floppy Joe does have time. His USA East blockers just holding down Toe Jammer. That's Boomerang there, one of those blockers with actually the pivot for Team USA East. She's also aging out this year and has skated a tremendous amount over the weekend.
Okay, Floppy Joe in the pack, knocked out of bounds there at turn 2. Seems like that was a legal pass there, so it looks like Floppy Joe is taking on, is that Enigma? Enigma up there up front? I believe it is. And Enigma?
No, that is turbocharged.
Turbocharged, okay.
Yeah, you know what? It's okay, because when people put helmets on, they start to look alike.
Oh, yeah, there's a penalty being assessed to that skater, and if I had to guess from what I saw, it was a low block. What happened looked like that skater just went to go put a hit, or maybe a hip check, and just took the opponent down at the knees. That's a classic low block penalty there.
And we were just talking about this, Carnage. Now USA East up to 15 points already this jam. Now that's 20. And that skater you were talking about, Carnage, is number 17 turbocharged. What a jam for Team USA East.
52-77 now.
And just like that, the gap narrows, right? And we still have nearly 7 minutes in play. I did want to mention quickly on the Twitch chat, someone asking, who is Blue 817? They're amazing. That's who I was talking about. Boomerang.
Boomerang, yes.
She's fierce. She's been out there, like I said, Champs Weekend playing with her teams. And, I mean, all these skaters I can't say enough of, and it makes it seem like I've seen them skate their whole lives. I've only just seen them skate this weekend.
4 days, and I feel like I know them just by watching them skate. I've talked to maybe 2 people the entire week, you know. But like I said, we're seeing a lot of these names here are not new names.
And we do have just a quick shout out to our Zebra crew, our referees, Judge Double Wapner, Sir Lancelot, Stone Nasty, Richie Cranium, TIE Fighter, that is the 101. And actually, if you see his 101, it's done in the style of a Star Wars TIE Fighter, so it makes sense. Scrim Reaper and Karma.
So we're getting a note now from my producer that USA West has had 5 consecutive scoreless jams. So that's USA East kind of getting a feel for what they're up against and just working full time trying to shut them down right now.
Well, and that's a recipe for a lead change as well. So even, as we said, you get lead, you can control the game, although we have seen as well that these skaters are so intense, even when they're supposedly in the weaker position of not having lead, they still come out on top.
Threatening Thunder wearing the star. It almost looked like Threatening Thunder was going to pick up an easy lead, but there's USA East putting a strong block, and now Thunder is stuck at the back of the pack. Number 120 on USA East. Evil Apple with the knockout. 817. Boomerang also with the knockout. We were just talking about Boomerang. And
USA East again.
And just because of East defensive blocking right now, their jammer had enough time to complete the initial pass and pick up lead.
And that's the thing, the blockers, sometimes the quiet heroes of Derby.
You know, Derby is one of the few sports where you have offense and defense working at the same time, and a lot of focus is made like the jammers. Well, your blockers are just as important because your blockers, they're holding back the other jammer. While your jammer moves forward, they're clearing holes in defensive walls. They're working hard during power jams to try to lessen the points the points score during a jammer penalty. So just absolutely critical.
And I'm being corrected, and I'm really glad to hear this. Boomerang actually still has a few more years of juniors. My apologies.
Okay.
We were given some information earlier that I may have misread. So that's good to hear, though. That means JRDA still gets to see some high-level athletes returning back from this experience.
Yes, we have talked about a couple different skaters who this is their last weekend as JRDA skaters. And if you're listening and you were here at Champs, please pursue Derby to a higher level. We have seen amazing gameplay. Just pursue it.
And we have Rivas coming back for a scoring trip through the pack.
And there's Olivia Glisson shut down before Olivia can putting points up. So with a 4-0, 3-0 jam there for West.
Oh, this is shaping up really closely, Carnage. I mean, we still have 4 minutes, 48 seconds left. And the way that roller derby works, of course, the period clock can actually time out before the jammer clock. So we're estimating around the time of the period clock what's left there, but we'll see what actually happens.
No doubt we're going to see a timeout call just as the clock expires to squeeze one more jam out of this. But if we see a jammer penalty on red, and this is just speculation, I think the offense by blue, by East, is enough to put easily 30 points on the board. One of the previous games here, one of the previous games, Olivia Glisson put 35 on the board in one jam, and then 30 or 34 immediately after that.
So triple threat out with lead. That's another lead for Team USA East. The 7th in a row. Calls it off. Big apex jump by Global Storming.
That was let's see how many. But an illegal contact penalty. Like we were just saying, there is a jammer penalty now for USA West and 4 on the board by USA East. This could be what defines the game right here.
And that illegal contact being that when he jumped through the air, I believe he did make contact with an established skater. So it's one thing if you do the apex jump, Carnage, and all of a sudden a skater moves and there's no way that you could have avoided it.
Right, but if you have both your skates off and you hit somebody, it is not, that's a misconduct penalty. We can't have that.
The East rallying back in this, we'll call it the second half of the 30 minutes. Intense gameplay. This is only one half of a regulation derby game. Oh my goodness, I don't even know what's in store for 60 minutes.
This is Floppy Joe right now picking up lead.
The crowd goes wild. That's 8 leads in a row for USA East.
Definitely picking it back up. So this is East's chance to definitely come back from that.
Oh, but Global Storming storms in.
So let's see if Floppy Joe calls it or takes his chances.
Global Storming does not need a lot of space to get by.
Yep. A couple points are going to be put there. 2 points there by West. We've got 4 up by East, so it's not it's still a 2-point lead in that jam.
We'll see what happens. We see some of the skaters are signaling to the coach for, hey, I have something that could be a challenge. Of course, both teams do have an official review left, and that allows them to challenge a call or possibly a no call.
Right. And we have seen those go both ways. We would like to think that the referees catch everything, but if you bring something to their attention and all 7 of them get together and you could talk about, you might have seen a third of this and you might have seen it from this angle. Well, if we put all that together, okay, that was a cut. We better issue that. So we're in the midst of an official timeout right now, actually, not a review.
And yes, my apologies. And with official timeouts, those can run whatever length is needed. That's why the period clock stops. And we do want to say that the next jammers will be Dizzy Izzy for Team West and Unstoppable for Team USA East. So they are looking to collect on those points.
Yes. And I think this is going to give both teams a breather that they need to kind of regroup, calm down, and just focus on the outcome of the game here rather than going at it jam after jam after jam with no break.
And we have another person new to Derby. Ooh, what is this on the Twitch chat? Welcome to Flat Track Roller Derby. You're actually watching the 2018 Junior Roller Derby Association World Cup. And something, just a moment, I thought this was great. I want to mention it. I mentioned earlier that Enigma from Team USA East having penalty trouble. Well, when that illegal contact was called on the other jammer, he was on the ground with his hands saying, thank you. So even skaters who have penalty trouble will still end up thanking a zebra.
Yes.
At least once or twice in their life. And this is what I've loved as well about the Twitch chat, people explaining the game The point scorer in roller derby being the star. That's the jammer.
I can't make out what are they chanting penalty?
No, USA East. Yeah, US East. Yeah.
Okay.
Penalty.
So 19-point separation right now, 2.5 minutes to go. We're about 2 minutes into our official timeout. I suspect that both teams, like I said, we're taking a breather right now. And there's Boom. There's Boom. If you're anywhere in Pennsylvania, you know Boom.
Oh, yeah.
From Reading and Philadelphia, chanting for USA as a whole. The diplomatic thing to do.
Well, and he's been a fantastic member of the spectator relations crew. A big shout out to them. I have not given them enough love on the stream because they get the crowd going. They make sure everyone's doing okay and doing all right.
Yeah, Boom in many of the games here has been on top of the track tape. You might not even notice that, but that's you keep on top of that track with the tape being down. It's a safety thing, and it's an official. You don't want to call official timeouts to fix the track. You want to have somebody on top of that who can fix it on the fly between jams. It just keeps the game going a little bit smoother.
Exactly. And so a big thank you. These are all volunteers making the sport of roller derby happen here. And we see
you, Rhea
Culpa saying, spectator relations, best idea ever. And it's true. You do need this for the rest of associations. I'm taking this back to my home league in Canada, Saskatchewan, Canada. So it will be spread around the world. Okay.
Unstoppable. Seeing if he can live up to his name, a tripod by USA West right there. The only thing between Unstoppable and lead jammer, just about 2 more blockers. They go out of play. They have to let him go if they go out of play.
Except Speed Bryu did not, and that was illegal contact. He's going to the penalty box.
So he is going to be serving a failure to reform penalty while Unstoppable is now on lead jammer.
That's tough. If you're not paying attention, you need to be listening to the referees. They call that. And you still keep putting the pressure on. Well, they're not going to let you go.
Right. When you see the referee make that arm chopping move, that's called a warning for out of play. That means that you need to immediately cease what you're doing and rejoin that pack. And if you don't, and you continue to engage or skate forward and not join the pack, you're getting a penalty.
So what just happened there was both USA East and West had blockers who knocked out their jammers, and they just continued dragging. That was a whole track length.
We just kind of went like corkscrew backwards here.
And finally, a lead assessed, and it happens to be Team USA East. When I say finally, that was a minute and 10 seconds into the jam.
Number 063 there with USA West. Bumper car. Nasty hit. It was a good hit. I don't want to say nasty. It was a very strong hit. As you can see, it's giving Unstoppable some trouble in completing a scoring pass.
Rhea on the Twitch testing. I was hoping for like 8 more laps. I remember that Battle of the All-Stars. That was V Diva going around and around backwards.
Diva now with a league known as Wilkes-Barre Scranton Roller Derby. Unstoppable comes out. 4 points on the board.
Wow.
If you're seeing this name, Rhea Culpa, you don't know who Rhea is. Rhea is the head referee at a league known as Lehigh Valley Roller Derby in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. That's not maybe an hour and a half or so from here. Not terribly far. I was just at Lehigh Valley last week, actually. They played the Black Rose Rollers from Hanover, Pennsylvania.
There's so many strong leagues out here. I have to say a big thank you as well to JRDA, Junior Roller Derby Association, and the Philly Roller Derby hosting this event, hosting JRDA champs as well.
We have an official timeout, and look at USA East is only 9 points behind USA West, and we have an official timeout now being called with 4 seconds to the period clock, so there will be one more jam to this game. And
where did the time go, Carnage? I swear I blinked and it was gone.
Well, we're only running half of an actual game, so just a 30-minute half, and the game has gone so intense so quickly that we're pumped up. You're pumped up. I'm pumped. Gretchen's pumped up, and it went that quickly. So this is our final jam. I believe that's Olivia Glisson.
It is out there against Rivas for USA, and Rivas gets out with lead. And decides to call it off instead of risking.
Definitely had that power. 9-point lead. USA West taking the victory over USA East. Now that 9 points is nothing. That could have been made back in something as simple as a jammer penalty or 2 scoring passes. So if you're new to Derby and you see that, that's that score is so trivial, that difference in score. But for the purposes of what we're doing, that matters as far as how the tomorrow's countdown will be laid out.
So what that means is Team USA West will be seated in the top spot for the 2018 JRDA World Cup. Team USA East is number 2, Canada 3rd, 4th is Australia, number 5 is Europe, and then number 6 is Great Britain. And Carnage as well, we do want to make sure everybody is aware when you can join us again. Once again, I'm Deathnella, joined by George Carnage. And we will have the action returning right here, twitch.tv/WFTDA. Let's have a look here. So it starts 8 a.m. This is Eastern Daylight Time, okay?
Yes.
And that's seed number 4, VC5. So that's Australia against Europe. Then we have the next game, 3 against 6, which is Team Canada against Great Britain. After that, seed 1 against, I guess, the winner, obviously, of the 8 a.m. matchup,
Yes.
and seed 2 against that. So the big the big games, if I can put my words together. Fifth place game, yes, the fifth place game will be played at 3:45 Eastern, and then third place, the bronze medal game will be played at 4:45 Eastern, and the gold medal game.
Yes, and that the ceremony last night was probably 2 hours long.
Wow.
It was a very heartfelt event. It was in the opposite side of the rink back here. Everybody got their medals. Everybody was crying, sobbing in a good way. Some teams win, some won, some teams lost. Everybody kind of had the break and go back to their normal lives, opposite sides of the country. So for those 3 days, we brought a lot of people together for something really awesome. And there's our victory lap being taken right now by USA West.
And quickly before we head off, the gold medal game will be at 6:30 Eastern. I'm Deathnella.
I'm George Carnage.
And we'll be back here tomorrow for the 2018 JRDA World Cup.
And thank you for sticking with us on our track.